go. Nice slow connection. Hey y'all, something great is in the atmosphere set to happen because the technology is not doing what it's supposed to do. But if you're in here, drop a comment, say hi. Let me know you're in here. I do not own the rights to the music you hear. Don't belong to me outside of Spotify. Let's invite everyone. It says one person is watching. Who's watching? I can't see names. Drop a comment. Let me know you here. Hey, how are you? Pastor Angie, one of my favorite prayer warriors. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. So glad for you to join us. We're going to get started in a few. Just talking about remembering. So, I'm glad that you are all okay. You've been on my mind. Yeah, so tonight we're just going to be talking about remembering. I have put Muse Monday away for a while just because Spirit says so. And just, a lot can happen in a year. So that's what we're talking about tonight. Where I've been, what I've been up to, and all the great downloads and discoveries that I've made over time. Just sharing those. So, we'll be talking about just the importance of allowing things to fall apart so that they can fall in place. And returning to yourself and remembering yourself. So, if you're here, like and share this live. Let the people know where we are. It was supposed to be on YouTube, but technical stuff, and it looks like there still may be some technical stuff happening. But we're gonna push and press our way through because something is supposed to happen, and that's why all of this technical stuff is going awry. Something great is supposed to happen tonight, so I'm looking forward to it. I have great expectations. for something really good to happen in this conversation. Who's that? Who else?
Informational and educational purposes only. It should not be taken.
I want to give it a couple more minutes and see. Oh yeah, 7:06. But we can jump right into it. I ain't gonna hold it. The people know where to find me at. I think the people know where to find me at. I will be saving this live. I will be sharing this live. And this conversation can be continuous. It don't have to stop here. It should be an ongoing conversation because of the subject matter. And I don't know. I just think that it's very necessary. Someone else just joined. Let us know who you are, how you are, where you are. Thank you and welcome. So remembering. Okay. Where do we start? I think we start at, if you really have it all together, then you don't fall apart, right? Because it means that all is well and perfect. Whose reality is that? Seriously. Whose reality? Who has it all together? Hey, Lady J, it's the other Lady J. Welcome. Thank you for joining. So, yeah, whose reality is that? That your life is so perfect that nothing ever falls apart. Listen, not mine either. But so here's the thing, though. There was a time I thought that it was, because it felt like smooth sailing. And I just mentioned this Thursday when I preached 7 last words. The enemy will trick you with a whole lot of familiar but false comforts, right? And for quite some time, I thought that I was floating. I thought that I was in alignment because things were happening like I wanted them to. The reality was they were not happening like I needed them to. They were not happening in a way where there was longevity attached to them. They were not happening in a way where they were fulfilling to more than just my list of goals, right? And as a life coach, a holistic one at that, I'm all about dealing with the whole person. And so, come to find out, I was not dealing with my whole self. And so much had happened in what felt like so little time that I found myself watching things fall apart, but in a way that did not seem realistic and took a while for me to catch on. So by the time it had really crashed, it knocked me off my feet. I was unprepared. And you say a lot could happen in a year, a lot could happen in a day. But here's what happened to me in 2 years and what it looked like. Right, Lady J. Majority of us don't. So I lost my grandmother, my paternal grandmother, in 2024, the top of 24. And I thought I was okay because I knew that we were going to lose her. And so when it happened, it happened. And life goes on, and life goes on, and life goes on. I looked up 6 months later and I realized that life had gone on, but I had not. I was on a hamster wheel. I was jogging in place. But because I had already lined some things up and they were going accordingly, inside my cage looking out, it looked like I was making progress. It looked like things were going accordingly. However, those false comforts that the enemy offers, I was not okay. Once I had the realization that I was not okay, I had to do something about it. But what? Because I've established too much to just put everything down. I can't just let all of this go by the wayside. Love you, bro. Welcome. I did not take time to grieve. And learned this go around that I really never do. And so that crash happened, and I am fatigued. I am exhausted. But I feel like I can't quit because these are all the things I prayed for. I asked God to bless me with a lucrative business, doing what I love. I asked God to bless me with a village and a circle of friends who genuinely love me. And He did. He gave me everything I asked for. What I failed to ask for was strength and patience to maintain them. What I failed to ask Him for was more guidance with each vision, because the higher up you go, the more is required, the more everything you need. Your full armor has to be like the best of the best grade. And I was not prepared for what I asked for. And more than that, I had not set myself up to maintain it. And so God basically said, sit it all down. And I was like, can't do that. I have a thriving business. I can't do that. I have people who are counting on me for their thriving businesses. I can't do that. I cannot afford to stop. I cannot afford to take a break. I cannot afford to breathe, come up for air, none of that. And wore myself out in the process. So not only did Muse Monday get put to the side, so many other things just fell by the wayside. And it was almost like I had to let them. I really had to let my world fall apart. And I had to feel my world falling apart so that I could know when I was experiencing it again. And so that I could ask God, how do we never, ever get here again? Lady J said, to whom much is given, much is required. That, hey, listen. And especially the mental stability. And so here's the thing about me. That is the area that the enemy has been working on the hardest my whole life, because I have always been the go-to, because I have always been the one with all the answers. I've never had the privilege of avail. So people became dependent on me for knowing the thing to do, the guidance, so the one place I have to be strong in is my mental health, right? If my mental health is not good, I'm no good to nobody. Because if my mental health is not good, that means my spirituality is struggling, my emotional state is struggling, everything becomes struggling. So that is where the attack always happened. But I was so determined not to end up in a space of depression again. I was so determined not to let my testimony be in vain, because I had been there, done that, got the bruises, and I ain't going back. And this is how you don't end up there too, because that was my testimony. That was the basis and foundation of what my business is set upon. So we can't go back to being depression-mies. And so what that looked like was, you can't really take time to grieve. You don't have time to be sad. Because if you're sad and then 10 other people who are dependent on you, they're sad, somebody can't be sad. And it can't be you, because he didn't put you in charge of all of these things. Hey sis. And so I realized that things were falling apart, like for real, a year ago. And what that looked like was, I simply did not feel like pouring into the things that I had loved so much. Hey cousin, I had loved so much. I didn't feel like pouring into. I didn't want to be a life coach. I didn't want to be a friend. I didn't want to be a relative. I didn't want to be an employee anywhere. I didn't want the business. I didn't want the open mic. I didn't want connection. I was exhausted, mentally, physically, spiritually exhausted. And when you only have about 2 people who understands the type of exhaustion I was experiencing, but they were also in a space of exhaustion, you say I could do bad all by myself, and you let things fall apart. And so I did. That's just it. I let the crash happen. I let the burn happen. I let the burnout happen. I let the exhaustion set in. I let the desperation set in. I let it all set in. And I let it consume me. And there were days where I did feel like I was fighting for my life because this can't be right, God. This can't be how you want this to go. This don't feel right. This don't feel like it's of you. And in the last time that I was here, it was because I was living a life completely outside of your will. It was because I was running. I gave you my yes. How did we end up here? How do we get out? Because this can't be right. So God gave me the title for this book 2 years ago. And I wrote it down. I just do when stuff like that happens, because I'm a writer. When I get an idea, a title, a line, whatever, I just write it down and I sit it somewhere else. The title of the book, which you all will learn later, I was like, I didn't know what it meant when I wrote it down. But I love how God does things. How he's so we cannot pour from an empty cup. That's what I preached on Thursday, Lady J. Thirsting for God because you can't serve and pour from an empty cup. So gave me the title for the book, and I'm like, I don't really know what this means. And then also in my exhaustion, I found myself struggling with my spiritual walk, because no, God ain't promised me roses, when I gave him my yes. In fact, I knew that it would get a little more hard, but you ain't tell me it was going to be like this. And I felt like we talk enough that you could have said something. And I don't know about y'all, but I love God. God loves me. And so we talk like how I'm talking to y'all. So there were a lot of days I was like, God, this don't feel right. And I don't know why you doing this to me. I don't know what I did to you, because I keep saying yes. You say go here, I go. You say do this, I do it. You say this, I say it. So why do I feel like this? And God is very honest with us. It's always a matter of if we can handle the honesty. So I'm up here stressing, and God was like, yeah, I told you to do this, but I ain't say do none of this like this. That was all Shami. That was all Shami's. Now look at you. But because I love you, I'm gonna help you get it right, and I'm gonna help you fix it up. So I sat in the exhaustion. I sat in the sadness. I called it what it was. I did reach a space of depression, and I was there for a while, still operating in the areas that I needed to in order for things to maintain as much as possible. But I know that the people who truly love me and who genuinely really know me knew, like, this ain't normal, this ain't her. But I thank God for a village who will just let me be. And I listen, that trust is crazy, because who are me to be trusted? And so it didn't feel good for a long time. I accepted that I was grieving. Okay, Shamice, how do you get out of this? I accepted that I was tired. Okay, well, what do we do differently? And then the title of the book came back to me, and for all intents and purposes, the book is about returning back to yourself. And so that's where I got remembering from, because he's a God of redos. I don't know if y'all know that. A lot of people feel like once they screw up the first time, once they mismanage a blessing the first time, he won't give you another go, but he will. The difference has to be, though, once you realize that you have fumbled what he's giving you, when you come back with a repentant heart, you seek guidance. Okay, God, I see what you did there, and I ain't do that right. Teach me. Teach me this time how you want me to do, and go step by step with me. Walk this out with me. I will not leave your side if you do not leave mine. And so, exactly, Pastor, this was a hard reset, and I didn't know I needed it. I did not know I needed it. Because again, that false comfort, things were flowing. So I thought I was in my God flow. And I was walking and talking good like I had it together. Negative, private. I, in fact, did not. So watching it all fall apart, once I realized, like, this is not a bad thing. Watching it fall apart. Because once it's in pieces, you can see everything. You can see all the little minuscule stuff, and you can see how things got in the way. You can see how you went wrong when you took that turn. You can let it fall apart. That's basically the whole point of all of this. Let it fall apart. When things fell apart, you see people for who they really are. If you are walking with God like you're supposed to, he will reveal to you purpose and assignment in all of them. Some people are on a mission. They are on assignment for you, not necessarily against you, even if that's how that feels. But everybody, God wastes nothing. So with it all falling apart, I got a chance to look at every little piece and say, okay, this was looking like it was working, but God, was this from you? No? Okay, we don't use that piece no more. Can I do away with this? And when you're really close, he'll tell you, not yet. Yes. No. Give it time. Give it space. He'll instruct you. So it became one of those things of, once I let it fall apart, I had a clearer vision for how it was supposed to be together. And then suddenly I knew what it meant to return to me. Because the other thing is, too, growing up in church, I grew up in church. Church to the bone. Baptist to the bone. And so there were a lot of ways about myself that once I gave God my yes with ministry, I said I can't be that way anymore. But in all those broken pieces, I could clearly hear God say, why can't you be that way? That part of you is the part that I'm using for your ministry. So pick that back up. Put that back on. And this is how we're going to polish it up. And this is how I'm going to use it and use you with it. And it was like, oh, okay. So I'm essentially finding myself, but this time, because this is a very dangerous prayer, but I dare you to pray it because, whoo, I'm not. I'm sorry, y'all. I dare you to go into your deepest self, into your sacred space, and ask God to show you who you are in his eyes. What do I look like to you? Help me become that person, and help me to walk the rest of this life out as that person. Scary. It's a dangerous prayer. That's right up there with God. If you ain't send him, remove him. But I prompt the reveal. Mind blowing. Because it turns out I was already her. I was already her. Everything that I was working on, everything that I was doing, everything that was set in motion was all supposed to be. I just was not walking it out inside of the will of God. So here we are, remembering, literally putting members of myself back together, because in it all falling apart, I also had to fall apart. He had to completely dismantle every single altar even the one that I had created of myself. And it happens so easily that you don't even remember, you don't think that you creating the altar of yourself. But I did, because I was in my God flow. I was doing the things. I was walking it all out. The vision was visioning. So I had created an altar of myself, dismantled it. And I could not be more grateful, because that person, that woman, wherever she was headed, was not where I was supposed to be going. And so here I am now on the good foot. Glory to God, on the good foot. And no sooner had I started to have the realizations that I was remembering myself as I was coming back together the right way, so was everything else. He began to point things out, like you're frustrated in your business because you're doing this way, you're doing that way, you're doing this way. And I could say, well, God, how would you have me do it? Show me. But also with that, God, give me patience to wait for you to show me. Because maybe my business is not supposed to be priority right now. Point me in a direction that you'll have me go first. I took 6 months off from church. And I beat myself up for the first 3. Because, Shamish, you gave God your yes. Why would you not go to church? Why would you not be in the house of the Lord? Only for God to reveal halfway through, this was my time. Because you cared so much about the state of the church that you neglected to care about the state of our relationship. So sit down and let's talk. Oh, okay. So I got to do the last 3 months of that 6 guilt-free about church. Oh, baby, but that relationship building, that Bible digging, those prayers, that worship time, you talking about snot crying, ugly crying every 5 minutes. Because guess what? I was still falling apart. He had to keep dismantling stuff. I wasn't done yet. Every time I felt done, every time I said, okay, I could stand up, I could walk in this, it's go time. We getting ready to go. I'm telling my people, it's go time, baby. It's takeoff. We about to hit the ground running. No, we're not. I ain't done working on you. And the truth is, he is never going to be done working on us. But once you get comfortable moving in his timing, once you get comfortable with the fact that some of the stuff that is in his will feels really out of the way for you, then it's smooth sailing. Then you're hitting the ground running. It hit real different. And so now, as slow as things feel like they're moving, this is the best God flow I've ever felt. And so I know it's real. Because whereas it used to be, I don't make a move without God, and it's because I hear something quick or something seems like a yes, now it's really like, all right, God, if this is the next step, I need you to show me in detail. Map this out. Don't leave a detail out. If this is a spiritual delay, Lord, give me confirmation that this is a spiritual delay, because you know your child is impatient and I got control issues. So it's a different walk now as I'm remembering, as I'm coming back together, as he is continuing to put things in place. I have this poem in my first book called Kintsugi. And I don't know if y'all know what Kintsugi is, but you ever see those really pretty vases in pieces of like china with cracks in them and the gold fills the crack? That is intentional. They believe that nothing is wasted and that the gold makes it even more beautiful than it was before. And once I had read up on this, I said I had to write this poem because this is how God does us. He lets things fall apart. He let them break. He let it go to pieces, the tiniest pieces. Because you ain't supposed to be able to collect every single thing again. And then he uses all that good gold, all that good God to fill it back and bring it back together. And now it's art. Now this is something that you can put on display proudly. Because I would get 1,000 accolades any given day and come home and feel empty. Thank you. Listen, my truth is all I got. It's all I got. It's all I got. But yeah, I come home and I feel empty. Everybody loves Shamice. Shamice is so wise. Shamice is so loving. Shamice is so comforting. Shamice is all these things. And then at night, Shamice will get home and Shamice will be tired. Shamice will be angry. Shamice will be frustrated at the littlest things. Shamice will be everything but whole. Even with God. Even at church every Sunday. Even watching and engage in Bible study every Wednesday. Prayer line every Tuesday. Not telling nobody no, because I'm resourceful. If I could brag a little bit, I'm very resourceful. So if I say we're going to figure it out together, we're going to figure it out together. Everything but whole. Everything but whole. Praying till I am sweating and crying. Everything but whole. Because even in all of that, I was not operating inside of the will of God. I had to let it fall apart. I had to let it go to pieces. I had to let it look bad. I could not care about what somebody outside of me thought, somebody outside of my village. I could not care about if people started to inquire about where I've been. I'm on this journey. And if God don't place you in my path right now, you ain't supposed to be on it with me. So you're just going to have to mind your business and find out later. And so here's the later, y'all. I had to bring Muse Monday back first. Excuse me, because the conversations that happen here are so necessary and so growing. I know some really dope people. Thank you, cousin. Thank you, bro. I know some really dope people. People who I know for certain sitting in conversation with them, God has used them to speak to me. And I wouldn't have heard it nowhere else the way that I heard it with them. And so this is important to me to prioritize first in my return. Because I want these conversations to continue. Running from the call just to go in circles and end up right where you're supposed to be. Hello, Mo. You already know. See, Mo had Mo had some insight to everything. I have a really big village, but a very intimate tribe, and I love both. But my tribe knows. I done been through the ringer, y'all, for 2 years, and I didn't even know I was going through it the first year. I literally discovered that I was grieving and not great when I looked up and I realized that a person that I had talked to every day for 4 or 5 years, I had not spoken with them in 2 months. Not a single hello. Time was flying. That 2 months felt like 2 days. And all I felt was anger. All I felt was anger. And I'm not a naturally angry person. I have the joy of the Lord. I literally wake up out of my sleep singing, if not praying. Why am I angry? Why am I angry all day? And then it hit me one day. I'm sitting in my office, and for no reason, I am crying. And literally the tears hit my face, and I'm like, what is happening right now? Oh, daughter, have you cried for your grandmother? Like, for real cried. Not like the tears you get when you're consoling somebody else. No, have you cried for her? And have you cried for the others you've lost? And not even the ones you've lost to death. Because understand, when you decide to take this walk and you decide to take it seriously, a lot of things have to die. You got to die into yourself. So I was grieving the older version of myself. Just grief on grief on grief on grief. And it had to all fall apart for it to come together. And so now I can say that I'm not walking in, before it was I'm walking in my power. I'm calling back to me all my power. No, I'm calling on the power of God. Because that's where my strength is. My power was my power was lying to me. My power convinced me that I had it all together, and that even in the times where things did not look good, my power had convinced me it's all part of the game. Every day ain't gonna look like a winning day. And so it's like now, no, I'm powered by Jah. I'm powered by Yahweh. It feels different. You know what my favorite part about remembering is? I am allowing myself to be vulnerable, which I have struggled with my whole life. I'm 39. I'm 39 and I'm just discovering the strength and positivity and healing factors of being vulnerable. But a great deal of that, praise God, being surrounded by the right people. Because while I was always the caretaker, the go-to, I didn't have anybody that I could go to. There was nobody to take care of me. But God has placed people in my life now that when I need to lean, they like, lean this way, sis, I got you. Lean this way. We good. And I ain't pulling the Peter and I ain't pulling the Peter and taking my eyes off. I'm just leaning. And it feels good to be able to do that. There ain't a whole lot of them. So I make sure we taking turns. I might got to lean that way Monday, but come Wednesday, you can lean this way. Because Tuesday, I was vulnerable enough to say, I can't answer my phone today. I need to sit in this Bible. I need to sit in praise and worship. I need quiet time. I need downtime. But by Wednesday, you can lean this way, baby, and we gonna be all right. That's God. None of this process is me this time, and that's the big difference. That is how I know it's fail-proof for real, this time. So that's not to say that things won't end. It's not to say that things will never fall apart again. But at least this time, I can let them fall apart and be comfortable. Because I know it's not, they're falling apart just because life is horrible. Life ain't never been bad. I don't necessarily have bad days. I have difficult ones. I have heavy ones. I have long ones. I have loud ones, but no bad days. No bad days. I don't even allow bad days. How bad could it be? He put breath in my body. That's still purpose. That's still work to do. So ain't no bad days. But I'm mindful of the days. And if on some days you wake up and it feels like this is falling apart, I challenge you to step back and see what pieces are coming together. I challenge you to remember yourself and understand, thank you, Lord, when I say remember yourself like God remembers us, right? Put yourself back together, but like in His will. And if you don't have a relationship with the Most High God, that is the only source that matters. If you don't agree with that, I pray you have your own encounter that changes your mind. But I'm telling you what I know. And if I've ever told you anything right, if I've ever given you any piece of advice that made a difference to you, that wasn't me. So I need you to trust in my source like I trust in my source, because that wasn't me. If you've ever thought to yourself, oh, she's so wise, that ain't me. That's them 3 a.m. wake ups when God come knocking and I got to answer about some stuff that don't even pertain to me. Because let me tell you, half of the poems I write, I'm not in no relationship. But a love poem will come to me and it ain't for me. Every story that he reveals to me is not mine. And so if it's ever been placed on your heart to see what I'm up to bring me a question, to look to me for guidance, understand it's not me, that's my source. And so I'm challenging you to build with the Most High God and let it fall apart for you. Like, let it fall apart, y'all. It's going to be okay. If it's falling to pieces for 9 hours, 9 days, 90 days, let it. He uses everything. I can't drop names, but there was a friend I was praying for. Because I couldn't get with where they were going, right? Spiritually. And things were happening in their life. And so I commenced to praying. Not for God to turn it around for them, but for them to have an encounter and a change of heart. Me and this friend ended up not speaking for a while. By the time we got back to speaking, all my prayers have been answered. They were showing up like right in my face. Like, I can recall the night I stayed up crying about that part. I can recall the day I went to war in my office about that particular thing, and now look at you. And it's happened again recently. So it's one of those things, like, you got to know your source. And you got to know. And when I felt like that friendship was coming to an end, I was devastated, y'all. I was like, really? Cause God, you gave me this one. Why would you take them away? Hindsight, hold up, daughter, didn't you ask for something? Let me hold this. I'ma sit it right here. And I'ma work on it. And then I'm gonna give it back when it's ready. Let him take it. Let him take it. If it feels broken, let it break to pieces, all the tiniest pieces. He gonna work wonders with it. This is when they say he gonna work it out, he gonna work it out. He is. And it'll help you, that remembering, y'all, as I pick up the pieces and put me back together. But put me back together like he means for me to be put back together. I feel unstoppable. I feel like I got supernatural powers. Excuse me. But I don't rely on me for anything. I'm human. I'm just Shamice. But Shamice powered by God, that's just the bed. And so here I am, putting myself back together, piece by piece, as he hands me the pieces. And even the parts of myself that I asked for back, if he says no, all right, okay. Just got to be okay with it. But it is important to remember that it is not all bad. This does not end bad. The word says he will perfect that concerning you. And that means everything. That means everything. The thing that you might be going through that you could possibly think of is the worst possible thing. He's going to perfect that concerning you. You just got to give him time Ask for patience and understanding, because I'm impatient, y'all. I'm so impatient that if I think I could do it myself, I'm going to do it myself first. And if I ask you to do it and you take too long, I'm gonna figure out another way. That's how I operate. I'm learning to operate differently, because sometimes the delay, which I already knew, but it just hit different in this season. The delay is so purposeful that if you try to touch it yourself, you will misstep and set yourself back. Let it fall apart. Only good things could come from letting it fall apart. And if on some days that looks like you can't get out of bed, lay there and talk. Lay there and talk to God. Lay there and talk to God until some part of you feels like getting up. And even if that getting up is just to go and find a bite in the kitchen, that's good enough. Thank you, Lord, for that much strength. Thank you, Lord, for that much push. See what you got the next day. But let it fall apart. Yeah, I don't. The last year has been different, but it has been time well spent. And if you've not seen me in a while, if you've not heard from me in a while, when you do see me, please know that you are not seeing the me that you saw before. And if you think I'm acting funny or I'm acting different, I am, because I'm not the same. I'm not in that space anymore. To God be the glory. I'm not in that space anymore. I can't even operate like that anymore, because I don't want the consequences of operating like that anymore. Been there, done that, won't do it again. I am in the process of putting myself back together to become the woman that God intends for me to be, whatever that looks like. And I'm learning day by day. So if you walking with me and you rocking with me, you learning too. We learning together. And I pray that he is doing the same great works in you. And know that it will be finished. It will be finished. Because he finishes his great works. Okay, new creation? Yes, cousin. Yes. Yes, new and improved model. And it can only get better. The more I lean in, it just keeps getting better and better. I mean, I really, man, I wish I could express to y'all the things I don't desire anymore. The things he's taken the taste from my mouth with. The ways I refuse to go because I can't. I really, literally can't. Won't sit right in my spirit. Can't bring myself to do it. But it's not me. This is all surrender. I had to surrender to the process. It wasn't enough to give God my yes with ministry. I had to give him my yes about every little thing he said, can I have? Can I change? Can I fix? Can I reconfigure? Can I move? Yes. Yes, he does, cousin. Yes, he does the best finish. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. And so I do hope that wherever you find yourself, in whatever season you find yourself right now, you are slow walking it. Just walk it out. Walk it out with big trust in a big God, because we serve a really, really big God. Really, really big God. I mean bigger than anything, everything. And so do like the word says all them times, and fear not. Let it fall apart. It's going to come back together in ways you couldn't even imagine. Like we don't even think big enough. We don't even think on a grand enough scale when we ask God for things, because we tend to only be able to see what we want for the next step, or that famous question of, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Baby, 5 years is tomorrow. You're already there. So Think bigger. Ask for big. He's so capable of bigger. He is. Have you ever looked at pictures of the world and how no one part looks like the other? He did this. This is his creation. So why would you ever minimize your ask to something so small? Something so temporary, something so just to get over the hump. Ask for big, ginormous stuff. As you realize he's putting things together, ask for some big stuff to be put in that bigger picture. So that when it comes back together, look, he's capable of doing more than what you and I ever expected, exceeding abundantly above all we could ask or think. That's your deepest dreams. He can do more than your deepest dreams. Isn't that amazing? Child, let it fall apart. Go ahead. Give it over to him. Let it happen. And mind your business until he tap you on the shoulder and say, this is the part you got to pay attention to, because he'll do that for you. He'll do that for you. A lot of days, there was a tap like, hey, I know you ain't in the mood today, but we got to dig right here, sis. We got to do this work right here. And we got to do this now so that we can get on to the next part. And that's the flow. He will walk out every step with you. Let it fall apart so that you can be the best possible version of yourself when he puts it all in place. And it does fall all in place. You'll see. You'll see. That's excuse me, that's really all I got for you tonight. But please join us next week. I will see to it that we have a guest next week. Again, I know some really amazing people, and these conversations are I like to believe they're life altering, only because you just never know what could be said that is just like the aha that you needed. So I urge you to rock with us as we return to Muse Mondays, every Monday, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. If it happens to linger on longer than that, then so be it. We're going to let Spirit have his way each and every time. No, this is not a religious show, but I don't go where God ain't at. I don't be where I can't take God. I don't indulge in things with people in places where he ain't allowed or we gonna be uncomfortable. So know that much. But I love y'all. Thank you for joining. If any of what I said resonated, please share. Keep it with you. Pray for me as I pray for you. And I do be praying. Follow each other, because I see all my good walking buddies. All my good walking buddies all up and through here. But share this live, y'all. Yeah, that's all I got this Monday. I love y'all real bad, and I really thank you for tuning in. Next time it will not be just me, so make sure you follow me on all the platforms. Facebook is the only one with Shamice Lady Jacobs. Everything else is SJ Speaks 111. That's YouTube, that's TikTok, that's Instagram. Also follow RVA Project. I have some announcements coming with the RVA Project as well. Trying to make sure I'm not leaving anything out. My sister Aneski has a triple book release happening Thursday at C Roses. You can get tickets at the door, or you can get them right now in advance. I urge you not to miss this. Don't miss it if you don't have to. My sister Mariah, she's in the comments. She is releasing a journal that I know that we are all going to love. I cannot wait to get my copy in the mail, and you'll definitely see her one Muse Monday. If you are free Wednesday night, Bible study is at 7:30. I always share. Sunday service starts at 11:30. New Harvest Deliverance Ministries, 2134 Park Avenue, where the angel of the house is Pastor William Briley. Join us. That's all I got. That's all I got. Oh, my brother John has a show also Wednesday. Spitfire Poetry Shutdown. Check that out. I always share that too. And that's Facebook and YouTube. So, yep. Yo, like, share, and follow. Come on, Muse on. Loved it. Thank you. I appreciate you. I need to reach out to you. I need to get in contact with you. So we'll talk soon. But that's it. I'm going to let y'all go for real because we are approaching the 8 o'clock mark. Have the best, blessed week. And I'll see y'all again this time next week. Peace.